Hello everyone, this is Donna from Even the Scales, and I'm on my channel right now to appeal for help in regard to the abuse that I'm being put through here in Campbelltown, New South Wales. Because right now I'm being terrorised both in and when I'm outside of my home by members of an organised crime ring. Included in that organised crime ring are my landlord, who is St George Community Housing, corrupt members of the justice system that include the Campbelltown Police, mainly at the moment, and corrupt members of the health system, and the majority of my family members as well are involved in this. And then there's other abusive members of the community that are just being paid to put me through abuse. So my life's basically being held hostage right now by this organised crime ring. And my life's very restricted with the things that I can do. The majority of my human rights have been taken away from me, including my right to have privacy in my home because there's cameras in all the living areas of my home, including the bathroom and bedroom. My right to be protected by the law and to feel safe in my home has been taken away from me. My right to be treated equally in the community, in the country, has been taken away from me. My right to be treated with dignity and respect and equality like everyone else has been taken away from me. And this is all happening to me because of a justice system and a health system cover-up. And this dates back many, many years. This isn't something that's come about over the past 5 years, 10 years, or even 20 years. This is something that goes back to when I was a child, and it all stems from the two people that adopted me as a child. And I've only just realised recently that that they weren't my parents and that I was actually adopted. I've only just realised all this, and I'm 60 years old now. So it goes right back to when I was a child. They have never, the two people that brought me up have never told me who my real parents are. They robbed me of my whole identity, and corrupt members of the justice system helped them do this. So this is where it all stems from. And they adopted me to steal my legacy, to steal my inheritance, because they knew that I was going to inherit a legacy one day, and they adopted me for that one reason, was to steal that. And it was all organised. So they've lied to me for my whole life, and they've purposely isolated me, especially over the past 14 years. They've purposely isolated me, and they've told many, many lies over my character, and they've done that to deliberately keep people away from me, to keep people from helping me. And it's just me up against all these family members that are involved in this, and there's quite a few of them. So they've told all these lies over my character, so they've just tried to destroy my reputation. And yeah, they've done this as an organised group. It's all been done for money, for my inheritance. And the two people that brought me up, they also brainwashed my children throughout their entire lives to turn against me. And I've basically been human trafficked, because I was human trafficked from the start when those two people adopted me. And then from then on, they have psychologically abused me for my whole life. And Even my 2 marriages and another long-term relationship that I was in, they were all organized. They were all set up. I was human trafficked to those marriage partners, and they were a part of the organized crime ring. And this is something, at 60 years old, I'm just realizing all this. And, people might think like, well, how could you not possibly know? Well, I didn't know. I had no idea at all that my marriages were set up until quite recently. They were good liars, very good liars. So some of the restrictions that I have over my life right now is that I have had an implant placed in my body somewhere by corrupt members of the health system. This implant allows people to track me no matter where I am. It allows people to view my vital signs. It allows people to know when I'm going from sleeping to waking up. And this is how this organised crime ring are abusing me and putting me through psychological abuse. That is a big part of it. So I'll give you an example of how they're using that implant to their advantage. So there's 2 male neighbours here that are joined to my unit that put me through abuse every day. There's one that they both live very, very close. Their units are adjoined to my unit, and they're being paid to abuse me. And the other morning at 2:30 a.m., one of them knew that I had woken up because this implant told them when I was going from sleeping to waking up. And that was when they tried to scare me. So this is how they're using this implant to their advantage. They also use it in the way where if they know that I am being abused and I am traumatized by whatever I'm going through because my heart rate goes faster, they will double up on the abuse and they will carry out abuse as well to just make the situation twice as stressful. And they're doing this to try and affect my heart. They're doing it to deliberately either cause me a physical or a mental health breakdown or death. So I have people living quite close to me that are trying to do this right now, within meters. My phone has also been hacked, and many, many people can view my phone. So anything I do on my phone, all of my personal information is out there, and I have no protection from that. And it's corrupt members of the justice system that have done this. Obviously, they've worked with other people to do that, but my phone can be seen by many, many people. And then they will carry out psychological, people that are involved in this organised crime ring will carry out psychological abuse based on the things that I look up on my phone or the things that I do on my phone. So I have no protection there. There has been people that have been let into my home when I wasn't here. So I have to worry about that whenever I leave my home. So that's another big restriction. I can't go too far. I'm also stalked on the road because there's cameras in my car, and because of this implant as well, people know where I am. If I search something on my phone, they know where I'm going. If I'm going to an appointment, they know I've got an appointment. There'll be stalkers there waiting at the appointment. There'll be stalkers on the road all the way home. So this is how they are doing what they're doing. So there has been people let into my home when I wasn't here. And I know this just because of certain things that have happened that have confirmed it. The 3 neighbours that are joined to my home, their range hoods over their stoves have been rigged so that they can tamper with the oxygen that I'm trying to breathe in my home. From around 3 a.m. this morning, 2 of these male neighbours were sitting there terrorising me in my home. These are 2 mature, aged men that sit there and stalk and abuse a woman on her own for hours on end, terrorising me, tampering with the air in my home, breathing cigarette smoke into my home, sending all sorts of different odours into my home. So that happened this morning. Yesterday it was from 2:30 a.m. when one of them tried to scare me at 2:30 a.m. This morning it was from about, I think it was 3:30 a.m. this morning. And they've tried to take away everything that could possibly bring me joy and happiness in my life. Things like being able to get out into nature. If I do that, well, I'm stalked everywhere I go, no matter where I go. Things like seeing my children, my grandchildren, they're not in my life because of this. And, you know, because I can't go out as much and I do have these restrictions over my life, I lack exercise. I lack things like getting exercise. I lack things like getting sunlight. And this is causing my body to lack certain vitamins and hormones, which then is affecting my health in other ways. So I just have to try and feed those endorphins whenever I can. Like yesterday, I went for a quick walk in the sun. It was only about 15 minutes, but you know, I've just got to try and get the sunlight wherever I can. I bought some dark chocolate because dark chocolate is supposed to be good for the endorphins in the brain. So I've started eating that, and I've just got to try and look after myself as much as I possibly can. So, yeah, if you don't get those hormones naturally, um, it starts to affect the major organs of the body, and this is another way that they're trying to affect my health. So, and also, you know, in the way that I can't get exercise, like they've placed all these restrictions over my life in such a way where it is affecting my health over the long term. It's going to, if I don't get help soon. So I'm also stalked everywhere I go, and when I go out, a lot of the abuse that I'm put through is based on the things that I've done in my home. Because these cameras are in my home, there are abusive members of this organised crime ring who view into my home just to watch me be abused. And these people, they play this like some sort of game. I don't know exactly how they're doing this, but the only way that they really can be doing this is they're going to some kind of online platform where they are all viewing into my home illegally. They're able to stalk me from that platform and see where I am at all times. They're able to track my vital signs on that platform. They've all got to be going to one place to be able to do this. So there's people that pay to view into my home, into the living areas of my home. There's cameras in my bathroom. There's cameras in my bedroom. When I use my bathroom, I have to hold a curtain up, and it's been like that for months and months and months. And, the whole time this is happening, I'm being ridiculed and put through cruel psychological abuse as well. And if I was to move out of this home, it could quite possibly happen again, because this is being done by corrupt members of the health system and the justice system in New South Wales. So it probably wouldn't matter if I moved. This is going to follow me, and it's going to continue to happen, because this is all part of a cover up. Some of this cover up is to do with what stems back to when I was a child, and how the two people that brought me up have stolen my inheritance from me. That's just one part of it. There's also corrupt cops that were connected to me and my family. And one of those cops has committed violent crimes against women. This is another thing they don't want the public to find out. I also reported a pedophile in 2020, and the Campbelltown police did nothing about that. They didn't follow it up, and they didn't do anything about it, because that was all part of the psychological abuse that's been carried out on me. So, as you can probably imagine, it's very difficult to live like this, but I haven't had a choice, and I've just had to accept it, that this is just a part of my life. This has just happened, and I just have to get through every day as best as I possibly can, and I have to look after myself. So I want justice, and I deserve justice. So really, giving up isn't an option for me, because giving up means that I'm giving up my life to these people. To these people like St George Community Housing, who are paying neighbours to abuse innocent people to death in their homes. I'm not giving up my life for that. So I'm not giving up my life for people like that. So really, I don't have a choice but to just keep going every single day, and just accept it, that this has happened to me, and just keep going. That's all I can do. And I hope and pray that one day my kids and my family, my immediate family, my kids and my grandchildren will be back in my life, because right now they're not. And it's got a lot to do with the brainwashing that went on from the ex-partners that were a part of the set-up marriages, and the people that brought me up. They've had a lot of influence over the family over the years. So, like I said, I deserve justice, and I want justice. And yeah, all these lies that have been told over me, I want to save my reputation, and I want to prove that those lies are not true. That's a big part of this as well, because the lies were told to keep people away from me, and so many people have told them, because there was family that have done this, there was corrupt police that have done this, and there was neighbours that were involved, that are involved in this abuse still, that told a lot of lies on me so that I wouldn't get any help, so that they could try and justify what they've been doing to me. So they're either trying to cause me a mental or physical health breakdown or death by constantly putting me through cruel psychological and physical abuse as a group of people. And I say physical because there's people attacking my air that I'm trying to breathe. And they're also affecting my heart rate. So that's physical. They're also trying to make me lose hope in life. So that's another thing they try and do. They try and make me lose all hope. And that's something they'll never do, because I love my life and I know who I am as a person and I know what I deserve. So they'll never make me give up on my life. I also have a lot of faith in God, and that's another thing they try and destroy. So what they're trying to do right now is they're just trying to hurry up and harm me in some way, in one of those ways, just to try and shut me up and accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, which is destroy my life. And I was thinking about it this morning, and when I think back over the ex-partners that have been involved in this and family, every time I ever tried to get somewhere throughout my life, and whenever they see me bettering myself, they would organise something to make sure that it was destroyed. So this is what they've done to me my whole life. So I want my human rights returned to me. I want my privacy and my dignity, and I want to be treated with equality like everybody else in Australia is. Because I definitely don't deserve this. This is happening to me because of corruption. And if this doesn't, if there's no resolution here, this is going to continue to happen to people. There's going to be landlords out there that are continuing to pay people to abuse innocent people to death in their homes. There's going to be corrupt cops out there that are stalking people to try and make them lose hope in life, which is what happens to me. The Campbelltown police was stalking yesterday, and they do that to try and encourage the community here to put me through abuse. So, at times, like at 2:30 a.m. in the morning, when I've got one of the male neighbours that are being paid to abuse me, trying to scare me, I've got no one to call. There's no one to call for help because the Campbelltown police are encouraging that person to abuse me. There's many abusive men stalking my home and the area, because a lot of them won't stalk past the home now. They're just stalking the area, and you can hear them. So thank you if you've listened to this video. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your time. And what I need right now is to raise public awareness of what I'm going through. I need to raise public awareness so that I can be free, and so this never happens to anyone again. I don't want anything like this to ever happen to my grandchildren. So with a family like where I've come from, it's quite possible. So thank you again for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if you can help me in any way to raise public awareness, or just in any way to get justice here, please contact me on the email that will be attached to this video.